What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Everyday EDC. My name is Tyler, and today we are reviewing the Bestech Scimitar. So, this is the Bestech Scimitar, guys. We have a G10 handle, which kind of has that wood grain look to it. It's pretty. It's nice. I'm not a huge fan of the green, but it's not my knife. This is Jake's knife, so thank you, Jay, for sending this to the channel. I apologize for ragging on your color choice. The lines on this look kind of goofy, but they fit your hand very well. We'll get into that. We have some nice scalloping here to access the liner lock when this is open. We have a lanyard hole right here with no back spacer, but we have some barrel spacers right there. A nice deep carry pocket clip, which, you know, it's kind of big, but it's nice and deep carry, and it's shaped very well, so it's going to slide in and out of your pocket just fine. On the inside here, we have some recessed liners, and on the show side, as you can tell, there is some weight relieving on those stainless steel recessed liners. As I said, 2 barrel spacers right there, and we have our stop pin right there. This blade shape is what they call a trailing point, or, you know, they also call it an upswept blade shape. So either or really works, and it just kind of, it almost actually has a Tonto look to it, because I was just looking at it just now, and it like goes up, and it almost goes into like a secondary bam. Not quite, though. We have a cool fuller right here that's probably more so for a slight weight relief and design style. On top of the fuller, we have a swedge that goes almost the full length of the blade, which is cool, but then they go out to a flat out here, which is even cooler because this blade tip, for being an upswept point, is not that dainty. It's actually a pretty stout tip, which is very good. This blade shape, while not my favorite, makes for an excellent slicing blade shape. The way that your hand travels and the natural travel of your arm, at least mine, I've noticed that these types of blade shapes, this along with the Artisan Cutlery Arroyo, really slice very, very, very well. We have a full flat grind coming down here once it gets past the fuller. Alright, sorry about that, I had to pause the video. But yeah, I just remember they called this like a Titania or something like that. It's like a weird name for what this is. I'll eventually learn it one day and correct myself and educate everybody who is also in the dark, or somebody online can also educate me, because everybody seems to want to do so, which I appreciate, especially when I'm wrong. So we have these nice swedges going, not swedges, but like scalloping going on down here, but what you didn't notice is these are contoured scales. So, in hand, this thing is ergonomically sound. Despite not having a choke up or a finger choil, it does have a sharpening choil right here, and it is very, very comfortable. Let's get you guys some specs. Let's get into the overall length of the Bestech Scimitar. Right here. So this is coming in right at about 8 1/4 inches long. Right about 8 1/2. The overall blade length is coming in at 3 1/2, and the cutting edge is the same exact as that, just because of the way this comes up and then comes back down. The cutting edge is exactly same as the scales. That is really nice, and you get a ton of cutting edge, which is great for a slicer of this type. Let's get your weights. Come on. What are we going to do here? What are we going to do here? There you go. So your weight's coming in at 4.21 ounces. It's not a super light boy, but it is not a small knife. So 4.21 ounces for about 3 1/2 inches of blade length, that's not bad. You're not getting your blade length to weight ratio, but that's okay. I've never heard anybody mention the blade length to weight ratio, except for the reviewers, so it's just another way that we can use a metric, I guess. The blade stock thickness is coming in at 140 thousandths. Not bad, and not too slicey or not too thin, but thick enough to be robust. And the cutting edge is coming in at 24 ounces. Hundredths. Well, sorry about that. That was a very, very special moment. The overall thickness of the scales at its max contour is coming in at 550 thousandths, which is a little bit thicker than average, but for a contour, it's not bad. Usually the contours are coming in the high 50s, low 60s, and it feels good due to that contouring. This is a relatively thin blade. Excluding the flipper tab, this is coming in at only 1.1 inches thick. Put that into perspective. Your PM2 is coming in at a 1.6, your Para 3 is coming in at a 1.66, and your Manix 2 is coming in at a 1.74. Speaking of your Spydercos, here is your Spyderco Shaman. For a size reference, this thing is just about as long as your Spyderco Shaman, and obviously much longer than your Para 3. For those of you that don't know, I do a ton of size references so that you guys hopefully can see a knife that you can associate with this knife so that you have a very good relevant point. Now, the reason that I do that is not everybody is a knife collector. We've only had 1 or 2 knives, unlike crazy people like me who has several. So you might not have a reference, not to mention online when you see the specs don't mean anything and pictures are so deceiving until you get a very, very good vantage point. So as you can see, the Scimitar is much longer than your Rat Model 2 and about the same exact length as your Rat Model 1. Let's go into your Feldspar in micarta. It's a really nice micarta too, I like it. I just cut my finger, what the hell? And your mini Feldspar. As you can see, a little bit longer than your large Feldspar and much longer than your mini. Last but not least, we have a Civivi Samick. We have our Dogma. And we have our Civivi Daurus. Much longer than your Daurus. I'd say about an inch longer than your Dogma all around. So what are my overall thoughts on this knife? Let's do a quick recap. So this is contoured G10 scales that look actually pretty cool with that wood grain texture look to them. It's really nice. They did a lot of chamfering around this whole knife with a nice scalloped right here, nice scalloping right here so you can access this liner. And I didn't mention this liner is actually really soft, but due to the recess, it doesn't have to be entirely too strong because it's not going to fail. You have your G10 on the other side really keeping it there sound. I love soft liners. I don't know why, people might call me crazy, but a soft liner makes for a very fidgety knife. Speaking of fidgety knives, this is on ball bearings, and listen to this. Oh yeah, it snaps so good. It's not drop shut, but you can wiggle it shut just fine. Ergonomically, it's pretty sound. We have a deep carry pocket clip on just the one side. It is right hand only, right hand tip up, if you will. This is a upswept or trailing point style blade. Not my favorite style of blade, but awesome to slice with, guys, I'm telling you. You have a flat grind that's pretty aggressive. It comes down from 140 thousandths on the spine all the way down to about 25 thousandths behind the edge, which creates a very, very good working edge. It's not going to be dainty, it's just going to be just fine. We have a fuller going this way, which is a little weight relief in the blade, and it does provide a little bit of aesthetic appeal. You cannot use it to spidey flick, though. I tried that, don't worry about it. So we have a swedge that goes this length, carrying this fuller this way, but then it goes back to a flat and the regular size of the spine, providing a ton of strength for that tip. Captive pivot, yeah, there we are. So what are my likes? I like the action. I think the action is amazing. For a Bestech, it's good, but you know, for the price point, which I haven't mentioned yet, which is $52, this action is awesome. And you know what, guys? Bestech in the budget range is always killing it. Their quality is always great. Speaking of quality, their fit and finish. I have zero issues with their fit and finish. Really, really good. And I love the fit and finish of this knife. I love the sliciness of this knife. I love the price of this knife. And I like the detail that they actually took on the blade. Yes, this is still a little sharp, that swedge. It's not knocked down, but they did the swedge and then they come out to a flat and they go. But then you have whatever kind of coating this is on the blade going all the way through the fuller, and then they even put this nice fuller in there. So I feel like for a $52 knife, they put a lot into that blade. They put a lot into the G10 handles. It has great action, great ergonomics. This thing's a winner if you like that upswept blade shape. Dislikes, as you guys know, blade shape. Other dislike, the pocket clip is just okay. I don't mind it. It's very, very functional, But being how long that is, and yeah, it does carry half the length of the blade, so that's not, or half the length of the handle, so that's not too bad. That's usually a good thing. Being steel, I kind of feel like I'm going to bend it. Let's do my quick rating system here. I always forget to do it because it's new. Ergonomics, this thing's getting an 8.5. It feels really good in hand. There's nothing crazy special, but there's no hot spots. It feels nice. Action, this thing's getting a 9. 9 out of 10. Just for a $52 knife. I mean, the one thing that I like probably more than Civivi, and Civivi has that awesome action, is Bestechs have this. That snap. That snapping sound. It just sounds so good. The fit and finish of this guy, as we went over, is an 8.5 to a 9. There's nothing to complain about here. For a $52 knife, they did a really, really good job. The aesthetics, just because of that blade shape, my subjective view on aesthetics, I got to give it a 7. I'm not a fan of that blade shape. I don't think it looks cool. Not talking about function here, though. And value. For $52, guys, this thing's a steal. $52. We have a D2 blade, which I didn't mention. I got so wrapped up. Yeah, D2 right there. Let's see. There you go. D2. It says Scimitar on there. It looks a little old school. I can do without that Scimitar, but the Bestech logo is cool. Yeah, this in my opinion, I like Bestech builds over Civivi builds. They feel a little bit more sturdy, a little bit more robust in hand. They feel a little bit more snappy, not saying the action's better, and their fit and finish is just on par with them as well. So this Bestech Scimitar, if you like the look, is a frickin' steal, in my opinion. Is it a forever knife? No, because it's not mine. This is Jake's. Thank you, Jake, for sending this knife in for review. That's all I got for you guys. Once again, another plug. If you guys haven't seen my Patreon yet, please look. I am not begging for money. I promise you, everything that goes into that Patreon comes straight back to you in the form of giveaways. We're doing a bi-monthly giveaway based on the value of the Patreon. So I'm not even dictating what it is. It's based on the value of the Patreon. And we're starting the giveaways off with either a Spyderco Canis, or I'm giving away a Off-Grid Knives Black Stallion and, well, shit, I forgot what the other one was, but I'm giving away one of the sets, either the Canis or the Black Stallion and another knife, so 2 people can win. Get involved in that, guys. I'm telling you, you're going to get great deals on knives from me, and you're going to get a bi-monthly giveaway based on the value of the Patreon. So I'm not making any money out of this. I'm just offsetting my sale prices and having an opportunity to get a knife, review it, and give it away. That's all I got for you guys. My name is Tyler. This has been Everyday EDC, reviewing the Bestech Scimitar. You guys stay sharp. Stay safe. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day, guys.